Okay, everyone, we are recording and we are getting close. Okay, we are live on YouTube. President Sloan, if you would, please.
Absolutely. I'd like to call this meeting to order, the NIAA Special Border Control Meeting, Friday, December 19th, 2025. As everyone is aware, this meeting is virtually and is being held in the NIAA offices as well. So we'll go to agenda item number 2 for the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of America and to
the republic
for which
for which
it
it stands,
one
nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, now we will go to roll call. I'm going to turn it over to Tia.
Pamela Sloan,
Here.
Lauren Ford and Rollins Fowler.
Here.
Linda Cavazos.
Here.
Brad Malkovich.
Here.
Jay Kenny. Colin McNaught. Christina
Present, sorry.
Oh, you're good. You are. Christina Brockett.
Here.
Wade Colton. Brian Freeman.
Here.
Rand Thornton.
Here.
Alex Woodley. Keith Whipperman.
Present.
Dennis Holmes.
Here.
Miles Baldwin.
Here.
Ken Parker.
Here.
Austin Mayo. Tammy Habig. Bob Levitt.
Here.
Domingo Rivera.
Here.
Dave Henneman.
Here.
Ellen Thompson.
Here.
Xavier Anthea. Trey Lundeen. Emerson Liddell. Elsie Moore. Timothy Jackson.
Present.
Paul Anderson.
Here.
Bart Davis.
Here.
Sean Fitzsimons.
Here.
Kate Roy.
Here.
And myself, Tia Wonder.
Thank you. All right, now we'll go to number 4, announcements. I'll turn it over to Mr. Jackson.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize if the printer behind me is making a lot of noise. I'll try to speak louder than it. There are 2 items in your packet today that when we get to them, they are drafts, nothing more, nothing less. They were requested by President Sloan to be added. So I'll put them together with the help of staff and Mr. Anderson. We are also going to go into closed session at the end. So as the agenda is approved, I would ask that it be a flexible agenda. And other than that, I don't have any other announcements other than to wish everyone happy holidays at the conclusion of the meeting.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to item number 5 on page number 5, public comment. This time provides an opportunity for citizens to address the board about any matters not on the agenda. Items raised during this portion of the agenda cannot be deliberated or acted upon until notice procedures of the open meeting law has been complied with. Should a member of the public wish to speak on a matter not listed on the agenda, it is asked that the said person please complete a yellow public comment card and submit it to the president before the opening of the item. A limit of 3 minutes per person or 5 minutes for a spokesperson of a particular group may be imposed. It is a request that the comments be directed to the board as a whole. Comments that are determined to be irrelevant, repetitious, offensive, inflammatory, willfully disruptive, or deemed to be personal attacks will not be permitted. I do not have anybody in my down south, as I am aware. Anybody up north?
There's no one in office, but I was given a letter that you all had received, and it was asked that I try my best to read it in the public comment for today. So if someone doesn't mind timing me. that would be helpful.
Okay, Bart or somebody, could you please timer?
Okay,
Yes, I'm sorry. I was muted. Yes, I do have the time. Go ahead.
thank you. To the Nevada Interscholastic Activities Association, NIAA Board of Control. I am writing this to formally request an official investigation into a pattern of inconsistent policy enforcement and apparent discriminatory application of NIAA rules and procedures by Mr. Tim Jackson, which has negatively impacted Arborview High School. Incident 1, inconsistent application of seating policy. The NIAA, under the direction of Mr. Jackson, previously made midweek changes to teams' playoff seating, despite the effective games being imminent. This action was publicly justified as an ethical necessity to correct errors in the seating process. In direct contradiction to this established precedent, our review identified and formally brought what it believed to be similar seating error, resulting in an unfavorable conversion from home game to an away game to Mr. Jackson's attention on October 30th, more than 2 weeks before the scheduled contest. Mr. Jackson responded on November 3rd, explicitly stating no further changes will be made. The refusal to correct an alleged seating error with ample time following an explicit correction of similar error under a significantly tighter time frame the week prior demonstrates a critical inconsistency in the application of NIAA policy and resulted in competitive disadvantage for Arborview High School. Incident 2, failure to provide justification or respond to mathematical inquiry. Following the refusal to adjust the seating, I sought clarification regarding the mathematical basis of the NIAA's final seating. On November 3rd, I specifically requested confirmation as to whether the mathematical calculation submitted by the Arborview Athletic Director was accurate and if the NIAA had utilized erroneous data. Mr. Jackson initially failed to provide substantive response. Only after I included Ms. Sloan and Mr. McPartland, CCSD Associate Superintendent, in a subsequent email on November 9th, did Mr. Jackson respond, November 10th, merely stating that no mistake had been made and that the corrected data was used without providing any supporting documentation. I then provided a full mathematical breakdown demonstrating error and requested that Mr. Jackson identify the specific flaw in our calculation to allow for transparent communication with our community. Mr. Jackson never replied to this request. This pattern represents an unacceptable lack of transparency and a refusal to substantiate NIAA's decisions when challenged with evidence of a potential error, which suggests either a fundamental procedural failure or an unwillingness to acknowledge the validity of concern raised by our review. Incident 3, disparity of rules enforcement regarding promotional banners. At the state championship game, upon entering the field,
That is
Mr.
time.
Jackson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, at this time, we will go to item number 6, the approval of Friday, December 19, 2025 NIAA Special Board of Control meeting agenda. The request is also that we make it a flexible agenda. If I can have I need a motion.
So moved.
Who's
I
that?
will second.
Thank you.
Okay, can we do me a big favor, guys, because I'm writing, can we also state our names today?
Keith Whipperman for the second.
Alex Woodley first.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, we have a first, we have a second. Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. All right, so with that said, Mr. Jackson, you're asking that we go to number 8?
My
Second.
only request, Ms. Sloan, is that it was flexible and that closed session go to the end. So you can proceed, whichever,
Yeah, we'll go to we just flip-flop 7 and 8. Okay. So with that said, we go to item number 8, the NIAA legal counsel search. So if you could go to page number 10. just to let you know that what you have and what Tim and staff have put together is a draft that explains the scope of the job description in a sense. And then the second part, the second document is the timeline. I would also like everyone to know on the board that this is a joint effort amongst the board and Mr. Jackson. So we will be collaborating through the whole process. So if you could please take the time to look through this. I know we have some school board members that are on the board. I think that you can bring light of your past experiences because you two have been involved in hiring legal counsel. So are there any questions, addition, changes, modifications you see?
President Sloan, Linda Cavazos here. I believe that the qualifications and the duties, employment conditions, et cetera, that are laid out here are pretty straightforward. I would think that we would just need to look at the timeline and see if that's going to work out for people, and also, you know, how we're going to do this as far as the interview committee, et cetera.
That's a good point. I think I think we also need to discuss, where is it? And I think, Tim, you can pipe in anytime here too. If you go to page 13, the compensation. Before we conclude today's meeting, we do need to agree upon compensation. So, Mr. Jackson, if you want to speak in behalf of any of this, I'd appreciate that.
So there are technically 3 bullets there. There are 2 showing. TBD is the one that doesn't have a bullet. I apologize for the typo. Basically, there are 2 trained lines of thought here. Both of them carry different weight. Neither is right, neither is wrong. This is a decision the board will have to make. The NIAA currently has an agreement with Mr. Anderson and his firm that we pay a monthly retainer plus expenses. That is the only fee we are charged for his services, which are vast based on what you can see above there in the job description. They are also timely and time consuming. What we get for what we pay is not equitable on the firm's end. So if we looked at discussing a full-time in-house counsel arrangement with a competitive salary between 120 and 140, I can tell you we will be hard-pressed to find an attorney of the caliber we have currently or a caliber that would warrant this position for that price. The benefit package would then be borne upon us as an association to pay. There are other aspects that would go into having an in-house counsel arrangement. A legal secretary, insurance, many other aspects of that. I think that number 120 to 140 is extremely low. It would not attract the attention that this position warrants and the legal acumen that we need. If we discuss an arrangement with a hourly rate monthly retainer that doesn't exceed 140, which is what we currently budget. Mr. Anderson's monthly retainer is 108 in the budget. I budgeted an extra $30,000 for level 2s and the whatnot. Those all go into the full legal fees that we do for the year. I want you to do it's simple math. What we get from Mr. Anderson at his average hourly rate, which is a low average hourly rate comparable to Las Vegas and the Reno area, is about 20 hours of billable time a month. Break that down to a week, we're talking 5 hours a week, we're talking 1 hour a day. I don't think we are going to be finding anyone for that. I'm very concerned about the costs that will be associated with this. As well as you are all well aware, we run on a shoestring budget, and that shoestring could snap. So I'm concerned, and I think that's a discussion that the board needs to have. and where they want to go. So I'm open to those discussions or any questions that are asked of me. I will be glad to answer. But that's where those 3 bullets come from right there.
I think my question to you, Tim, is which do you think is in the best of the association?
I need more guidance on that question. I need more clarity on that question, Pam. Are you asking me which one do I think the association needs, or are you asking me which one do I think the association can afford?
Well, I think it needs to be on a needs basis.
Needs. Our association is one of the few that doesn't have a dedicated individual. I reached out to Utah. Utah's used the same law firm for the last 50 years. 55 is what he said. I believe it was 55 years was the number he used. They have a firm that represents their association. I'm sure it's on a retainer basis. I did not get into the financials with them. I think if we do go with the retainer, I think the board needs to be prepared that the retainer is going to be substantially higher than we're currently paying right now. And when I say substantially higher, I'll be surprised if we can find an attorney willing to take on this association's legal responsibilities for under $15,000 to $20,000 a month as a retainer. Because I can tell you, we are using our attorney a lot. We're no different than any other association, but we have been paying a very low fee for a long time. So I don't know if we can, I don't think we can afford in-house counsel. I do believe in-house counsel would be advantageous to us because it would be our counsel and we would have the unfettered access that we would need. I don't know if we can afford the cost, the insurance, and I'll be honest with you, it's a team. It's not a legal individual. It's a team. Mr. Anderson's legal secretary is in communication with me, with Kate, with any of us that have questions or the documents, the research, the preparation. Those things are all very important. And to put those duties on someone who doesn't do that for a living is very troublesome. It would lead us down another path. So bringing a legal counsel on as a full staff member is more of a person and another person. And that to me is another cost. I'm not sure which way the board wants to go. I think we can explore both options. I'm being very non-committal here. There are positives and negatives to each. At the end of the day, though, we want the board to understand that we will bear increased costs.
But I also want everybody to understand too that we can't even proceed to the timeline because if you're going to fly this position, we have to be in agreement with this entire document. So is there any questions in regards? Let's do this. Any comments, questions to page 11 and 12 before we continue on with the compensation? Okay, hearing that there's none, I'd like to hear from other board members in regard to the compensation.
President Sloan, this is Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
Good morning, everyone. Apologize for bringing family into this, but I have a son who owns a law firm. And I agree with Mr. Jackson. I feel the only way to do this is set up the retainer and or billable hours as well. And as I look at that, the current budget, I think we're far short of what this is truly going to cost. I'm not a master to calculate billable hours, but I would guess at the end of the day, we'll be in the $175,000 to $200,000 range pretty easily. And so I would definitely advocate for the competitive hourly rates and or a retainer basis.
Ms. Sloan, I did some rough math. I mean, 240 hours, I guess Tim said that he thought it was about, or Paul thought that it's about 20 hours a month, give or take. It's 240 hours at $500 an hour is about 120,000. I know there's a lot more to that. I'm just taking the numbers I was given. Tim, that's not including travel or expenses. Is that correct?
Mr. Whipperman, I'm not sure if you understood me correctly what I said. What our current retainer currently covers
is 20
that.
hours a week. Okay, got it.
Okay, it's not what we're actually using Mr. Anderson for. It's what
Okay.
the retainer in mathematical terms would actually cover.
Comes up to. Okay, that
Yep.
makes sense.
I'm sorry, I
was just trying
apologize
to
if I was unclear.
No. I was trying to wrap my head around a number that would make sense. But I guess my ask though, Tim, is let's assume that that's what it is right now. How much would you say beyond that are we expensing in travel expenses and hours beyond 20 hours a month? Have we been this year? Have we surpassed that 20 hours
Tim,
most months?
Paul, would
Tim,
you-
That's a
this is Paul.
question. I don't know.
I mean, I'm the one who knows, so
Yeah.
you want me to tell you?
Sorry, Paul, I wasn't, it's weird. I didn't want to.
No, that's fine. I'm just telling you, as Tim said, the retainer at my former hourly rate, my hourly rate's gone up since then, covers about 20 hours a month. I put in anywhere from at least 80 to 100 hours a month to the NIAA. So I've been losing a substantial amount of money for several years, but done the job anyway because of my loyalty and respect for the association. But finding new counsel, especially with rates where they are down, if you look at any of the other states around us, it's their legal budgets probably are $200,000 to $400,000 annually.
Madam Chair, this is Alex Woodley, if I may.
Yes.
Okay. I do, there's pros and cons as we all discussed. I do know that when you try to bring someone in-house as an employee, there's a lot of unforeseen circumstances, situations that happen, whether it's FMLA, whether it's vacation, overtime, all that other stuff. So I truly believe in the retainer and the hourly rate. Now, the wonderful thing about RFPs, RFQs, or the public process is that we can put the cap and we can identify that cap, but then we open it out to the market and we see what those applicants, what fees, what charges, what they submit. Because I can tell you, for me myself, I never thought that I would be an elected official for a school board for $600 a month after taxes. My time is worth a lot more than that. But because of my devotion to the school district and love for what I do, that's why I'm here. So we may be surprised. We might find individuals that are out there that have the expertise, that have other things on the side, that maybe they're retired, maybe they don't want to do anything else. They just want something to keep them a little busy. So there's an opportunity there. We may see rates from, as low as X to as high as Y, but we identify that cap and we let the open market and see what comes out. If it turns out that we can't get anything, then we can reconvene, we can discuss, and let's see where we go from there. But for right now, I say we put it out and let's see what we get. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cavazos.
Thank you, President Sloan. And thank you, Member Woodley. I have to concur with what Alex just said. And, we did the same thing in trying to decide whether we were going to go with general counsel, being the board counsel. We ended up doing a separate, RFP, putting it out there. And as Alex said, we don't know who is willing to come forward and has the experience to do this and the willingness to basically, work with us at a certain level. So we were surprised at the number of firms that came forward to the point that we actually had to go through several rounds of elimination before we took it down to about 3 firms. And that's what we ended up with. We ended up hiring a firm, not just one attorney. And that firm it's worked out to be a really good arrangement. They have more than one attorney they have one primary attorney, but when he is not able to be there, he has a second in authority that is able to be there and that is very familiar with the workings of the board, our needs, the contracts, et cetera, et cetera. So I have to concur with Member Woodley that this would be a good way to go, is to put it out there.
Anybody else?
President Sloan, Colony Not Region 4. Just a question, probably for Paul. As far as the breakdown of hours, I'm just curious what, I don't know, percentage or whatever it is board facing versus staff facing. You know what I mean? So like, I know a good portion of what I actually don't know, but I know that a part of it is from the staff level is the level twos, right? I guess I'm curious what that breakdown looks like. Is it board business versus staff business, if you have that?
I don't have a number for you, but I can tell you that it's primarily day-to-day operations is what the majority of the time goes into. Board meetings, there's only typically 4 a year. We've had a few more than that this year, but those are not significant compared to the day-to-day operations and things that come up. I mean, every day I'm in communication or I have emails or, requests for various things from the staff or, what you don't understand also, or what you may understand is for instance, Clark County, Jonathan Grande, when he has eligibility issues, I'm dealing with those also. So it's typically, I'd say if you want percentages, I'd say 95% of the work is day-to-day operations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, not having a clue on the day-to-day operations side of things, it's like this. Can you just give me some more examples of like what that looks like or what that is, just so I can understand? I mean, that's interesting you say that. I don't know that like Clark County should be using our board person to like make those decisions, but or I mean, maybe, I don't know, but I'm just curious, like what else does that look like day to day?
Well, if you look at, I mean, just look at the description of the job. That's kind of the day-to-day stuff. I mean, I don't know how to break it down beyond, what's in there. It varies from day to day. There will be issues that come up with a lot of eligibility issues, a lot of committee issues, regulation issues, committee hearings, committee meetings, um, uh, just requests for general advice on various matters. So
Paul, can I step in for a second as
yeah,
well? Just a clarification, Mr. McNaught, on the CCSD using NIAA legal counsel. Also remember that by regulation, CCSD and WASHO operate as an ancillary umbrella of eligibility. So in that case, Mr. Grande, while he is a representative and employee of CCSD, would actually be making NIAA eligibility determinations. So that's where Mr. Grande would then be reaching over directly to legal. It's not Mr. Anderson providing legal counsel to CCSD in that matter. He's actually providing legal counsel to an NIAA eligibility determination or officer in that sense. Same as with Washoe County. Those two are districts large enough by regulation to have an officer of eligibility in there that would directly have questions for Mr. Anderson in that sense.
Yeah, and if I may, let me step in. Ellen, haven't forgot about you. Is that we never refer to CCSD legal in regards to any eligibility determination because they are the next through the NIAA. So that's why we consult quite frequently with Paul. All right, Ellen. You have a question?
Ellen Townsend, officials liaison. My question is, what are we doing in the interim from when Paul leaves until we have an attorney or the decision is made on the legal end hired?
can I answer that, Pam?
Absolutely.
So Ellen, I mentioned in my letter to Pam that basically, I'm not abandoning the association. I can tell you, I have worked hard all month getting as many things done as I can get done. I got the 2 regulations that you approved at your November meeting approved by the Legislative Commission dealing with sportsmanship and with the increase in dues, plus I got all the others submitted. Those are very time-consuming things. So I've gotten as much of that done, and I've basically said that, look, coming January 1, obviously you're going to need counsel. So I am willing to do it. I'll do it I said I'd do it at my hourly rate of 450, but I told Tim that I'm not gonna hit the district or the association for that kind of money. So I will do it at a fair hourly rate.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, once again, we have to come to some form of consensus on what the compensation needs to read before we go forward. So,
Ms.
Madam
Sloan,
Chair,
this is
Dennis.
Paul.
yes,
I'm
Dennis,
sorry.
go ahead.
I concur with Alex, and I believe it was Linda. I think that approach would be reasonable.
Okay. Tim, were you prepared to say something?
I was. The one thing I want to stress to the board is this. We can put that out with the NIA is willing to discuss engagement of private legal counsel with a competitive hourly rate or retainer, which is not a problem. It's simple verbiage. My only concern is, and I just want the board to understand the timeliness of this. We need to move with this, and Member Cavazos, I'm sure it's a larger scale than what we're dealing with. Obviously, the term that she used that kind of gave me a little bit of a twinge was multiple rounds. And I don't know if the board has time for multiple rounds. So I would like to make sure that we are aware of that and we move in a timely manner. That's the only thing I had. Thank you.
President Sloan, this is Lauren Ford for the record.
Thank you.
Are you looking for someone to make a motion in regards to which of these forms of compensation we move forward with?
Well, I think we've had quite a bit of conversation. I just think we need to come to what it's going to look like. We need to spell it out and how it reads. That's what I'm looking for. And then we could make a motion on this document.
Ms. Sloan and Mr. Jackson, Keith Whipperman for the record. Tim, how much is available in the budget? Is there what's the wiggle room so that, I mean, if where you stand right now, what's the wiggle room in the budget? So at least the board, I as a board member, I can make an educated decision. I don't know how much we have. I haven't looked at the budget in a while. I know you live in it.
If you want my honest opinion, we have very little wiggle room, very little. And I mean, Keith, very little. But what we do have a money market account that sits to the side with $166,000 in it. My intent is to never touch that. Obviously, to me, that's the rainy day fund that you keep for, oh my gosh, what the heck just happened type of situation, which this may be. What I would say is this, it would be and I hate to put my name on this because it's not my final decision. What I believe we need to do is not put a dollar amount out there per Ms. Cavazos and Member Woodley's suggestion that we are willing to discuss an engagement of private legal counsel at a competitive hourly rate or on a monthly annual retainer basis, period. Bart, I'm going to no, I can't. Did that make sense? Basically, take the last bullet and stop the sentence after the word basis.
And I'm sorry, Tim, and maybe publicly this isn't I don't know, but maybe this is a closed session question. I don't really know. Where do we, I guess, having to know where do we like what do we have to play with, right? What is
about $140,000 annually? That would be
we have
that
number is the top of where you stand currently based on where we are in the. Thank you. That helps
I'm sorry. I should have probably said that, Mr. Whipperman. I've wrapped myself around the belief that I just don't think it's going to be enough, and I cannot tell you where I think we're going to fall. We have put in additional cost saving measures this year. We got a reduced rate at Mackey Stadium. It's going to save us some thousands of dollars and everything else, and we may be able to move that money other places in the next annual budget. I think that I think we could probably bump that up to probably close to 160 if we needed to. It would cause some strain and some stress. It would change a lot of things we have to do, but I think we could find that additional $20,000 somewhere. We can continue to our process of moving to virtual meetings, which saves us anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 every time we have a virtual meeting. This case in point. And I think that if we went there, we'd be good. I believe what Member Woodley said was very. We don't know what's out there, so maybe that's it. Maybe that's why we don't put a number there. I don't know.
Okay, I have two people with their hands up. I'm gonna start with Ms. Cavazos and then Ms. Brockett.
Thank you, President Sloan. Sorry, I have a cold here, so I'm kind of hoarse. I just wanted to clarify in a point that that Mr. Jackson brought up. The reason that we had multiple rounds is because we kind of had paused this when we were selecting the superintendent. So we had several firms that had applied then. Then we went back, and then we had some of the same firms. And so I don't anticipate, I could be wrong, I don't anticipate that we would have the same number of firms that would be applying for this position. So that was the only reason that we had to have multiple rounds so that we could winnow it down to like the finalists. And because there's so many of us as far as voting, and we also had to decide on the rubric. So, you know, that was a kind of a complicated process that we had to go through. I don't anticipate that it would be as complex with this. So I just wanted to clarify that point.
Thank you. Ms. Brockett, and now go to Mr. McNaught.
No, thank you, President Sloan. For Mr. Jackson, just to help me clarify again, currently, from my understanding, currently we budgeted $140,000 for legal counsel. Is that correct?
$140,000 inclusive of level twos and any expenses. So the retainer is 108, and then $32,000 was what I budgeted in for level twos, hearing officers, any other legal aspects. So what I'm anticipating doing is for the next after this is done, if I would put my feet to the fire here, budget the money for level twos separately so that we would then say, okay, we could probably up this budget by another $20,000. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think that our total legal bill then would be about 160. But we could also have some more wiggle room. We have been very, very frugal in our level twos, trying to do them virtually if possible, when we can or cannot, and saving other money that way. So I think we could probably squeeze another 20 comfortably, without the board or the student athletes or the venues and the events feeling it. I jokingly say we're getting rid of copy machines. That saves us $1,000. There's 12,000 right there. So I think that the 160 is a reasonable number. But at the same time, I don't want us to say that we're only going to go to that number as an association until we see what we get in return. In other words, if an attorney comes forward with a stellar reputation in this field, we may have to look at additional money allocations moving forward. And if we have to, we will. So I think that's a fair estimate of where we are.
Okay, and then just one more question real quick. Sorry, President Sloan. It
Oh,
sounds
you're
like
good.
most of the discussion, we're looking at more of the having like the retainer, right? Instead of doing a full house in-time person, because what's listed on this sheet, if it were a full-time in-house person, is only the salary for the actual legal counsel, not for the additional secretary that would be needed, etc. Is that correct?
Member Brockett, if we were to go with the in-house, I would say we would need at least another $250,000.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. McNaught.
It sounded like somebody else was about to talk.
You
I
were
just
next.
wanted to add a couple of things, but I'll do so at the end.
Okay, Paul. I'll
No,
let-
go. Mr. Anderson can go because my I just have a random thought and then a motion potentially.
Okay,
Couple of thoughts. I just want everybody to understand when Tim's talking about the budget for legal, all my firm ever receives for services is $108,000 annually. Okay, that's $9,000 a month. Travel expenses are reimbursed, and that sort of thing also. Those are just straight out of pocket, but that's not fees. That's just reimbursing costs. The other money is paid to our hearing officer, who has to bill for his time. And I'm not sure what that all comes to, Tim, but I assume that plus my costs for travel and thing plus his fees is where you're getting the 140. Is that accurate?
It is correct, Paul.
Okay.
It's about $2,500 for each hearing for the hearing officer, and then whatever cost we incur, whether we're moving you south or we're moving Ira north, whichever the case may be.
Right.
It's roughly around, I would say, and Kate, step in if I'm incorrect here. It's roughly around $3,000 to $4,000 per hearing.
Right. Right.
That's correct. 2,500 is the standard, and then fees if he's traveling.
Yep. So we look at that. So the fewer number of, to Ms. Brockett's point, the fewer number of level twos we go to means we have more money we can offset those costs, but I don't want to negate the fact that we still have those fees for level twos.
Okay. And then just a couple other final thoughts from me. In-house counsel, I think it's just not affordable because in addition to a salary, which as Tim already indicated is pretty low for a quality lawyer, you're going to have to pay for errors and omissions policy. You're going to have to pay for continuing education requirements, all these various benefits and things that go along with a decent lawyer, and as well as an additional staff person. So, and the other thing too, by having a counsel that's on well, I call it outside counsel, you get more independent advice, good advice, I think, as opposed to in-house counsel tends to just come and nod along with sometimes with what the employer wants to hear. I think with counsel that's independent and outside of the organization, but being paid for services independently is just a better route from that standpoint.
thank you. All right, I'll go to Mr. McNaught and then Mr. Whipperman.
Okay, cool. So just a thought question, something to put out. Like, is there an opportunity here to work with our districts potentially and contract some like legal services from them? Right. I mean, I think that's just, I'll throw that out there. I don't know what that looks like. I know we have lots of districts with legal counsels that I'm sure we could have a conversation with. I don't know if that's possible or not, and that can go through this process, but just throwing that out there. With that being said, I am happy to make a motion, President Sloan, if you're all right with that.
I would like to hear from Keith first, and then I'll come back to you. How's that?
Okay.
Mr. Whipperman?
Thank you, President Sloan, Keith Whitman, for the record. Paul and Tim, and Kate, how many level twos did we have last year, and how many do we have this year? Just approximate. I mean, I don't know if you have that number directly in front of you, but an approximation.
Yeah, give me just one second. I want to say it was 15 last year.
15 or so last year, and I think we're getting close to that already.
We're about where we normally are.
So we're on track for it to match at least what we had last year, if not more.
Yeah,
is that correct?
just about. But I actually have the data for the last few years. So 22, 23 was 16, 23, 24, 18, 15 last year, and we are at 8 for this year, which is pretty much on track with about the same.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit less.
And Kate and Paul, you said that was about $3,000 per 3,500 every time we do one of those.
About 2,500 is a standard. Sometimes if there's other things going on, it might be a little bit higher if there's like a second review, but the typical is 2,500
plus travel,
plus expenses.
Plus any expenses for him. Yeah,
takes us up to 3,000 or 3,500.
Yeah.
And the 2,500 is like the hearing officer's fee.
Yeah,
correct?
got it.
Yeah.
Not
last year,
including what Paul does and the expenses that come with it. Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. McNaught, I'm going to return back to you.
Thank you, President Sloan. I would make a motion to, what is this motion sounding like? I didn't think this through, sorry. To utilize the proposal presented on page 11 and 12 to begin our legal search with the modification of leaving the compensation open to what the proposed law firm believes is appropriate. Is that, Tim, that's kind of what you're saying, right? Tim, you're saying leave it TBD on that regard?
I'm saying, sorry, didn't mean to step on you there.
No, you're fine.
NIAA is also willing, NIAA will discuss the engagement of private legal counsel at competitive hourly rates or a monthly annual retainer basis.
Oh, that second bullet. Yeah, okay. Got it. Okay, so my motion is to approve the document we have in front of us for the search for legal counsel, leaving only the second bullet under compensation.
Thank you. We have a first.
Madam Chair, Alex Woody, second.
Thank you, Alex. We have a first. We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in.
Sorry, Pam, Keith Whitman. I thought, Tim, we had talked about taking the compensation off. Colin, are you making a motion to leave the number, the dollar amount on that second bullet, or take it off?
It's off.
Yeah, Tim had asked, I thought he had asked for us to leave the not to exceed part.
God, I just, when you made the motion, you said with the second bullet, I want to make sure we were clear that we were taking.
My recommendation, Mr. McNaught, is that we stop at the word basis.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
I'm sorry. So can I modify?
Absolutely.
Okay,
You need
so
to
I'm gonna,
restate your
I'll
motion,
restate
and you
the
need the
motion.
same second.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the document we have in front of us to begin our legal search with the use of only the second bullet under compensation, ending at the word basis.
Thank you. Alex, any second? Thank you. We have a first. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That has been approved. Thank you very much, everyone. Now let's go to page 14. I'm actually going to turn this over to Mr. Jackson.
So this was just, Ms. Sloan asked for a timeline. This is a truncated timeline, as you can plainly see. It is tight with the advertising of the position going out on Monday. If we get this approved today, I have no intentions of waiting till Monday. We'll get this on the website, get it out immediately. With the application deadline being January 9th, allowing people the holiday. I don't think we're going to get anything over the holiday. With a board search committee reviewing applications and selecting those for interview, very much similar to the search for the executive director, and then reference checks a couple days there afterwards, and then conducting the interviews for 4 days with a board meeting in Reno already established, and the finalist brought to the board or a finalist for approval. My thought on this was that the search committee would be identified by the board, and then all questions and packets could be sent directly to me. I would curate them and disseminate them to the board as one unit after the application deadline by those that met the criteria set in the job description. And there you have it. It's nothing in stone. It is a draft, as this is a board-heavy operation. And I'll answer any questions about that.
So, recommendation for search committee. Mr. Jackson?
You don't have to have a search committee. You don't have to take any of my recommendations on this, Ms. Sloan. The only reason I put search committee because that was what the board had done when they searched for an executive director. They had a committee that they put together. I don't.
Any board members have any recommendations or changes to this?
Madam Chair, if I may, Alex Woodley.
Yes, sir.
I don't think we need a subcommittee for this. We have a pretty tight deadline here between the 19th and 27th of next month. I think our executive director and his staff are more than capable to put this together and bring us some finalists. Thank you.
I agree with you 100%. Anybody else? Anybody else, any comments? So,
So
I'd
let me
make a
make sure I
motion
understand.
to
Am I understanding this correctly? That this is now the staff's position to find the attorney, or are we just bringing you the candidates?
hang on, let's hear from Ms. Cavazos.
I was just gonna ask the same thing. Is this now being basically placed on the staff to do this, and then the candidates are brought to the board for the interviewing? So would we then need to modify what we have in front of us right now, where it says legal counsel search timeline procedures? Because we do have search committee on there. So would we need to modify that if the process is actually not going to be that, but that it's going to be staff that is doing this?
I'm gonna go to Mr. McNaught.
Yeah, trustee, I think that's a fair question because I think I don't think it's on the staff here to like vet it necessarily, right? What I heard, Member Woodley, what I interpreted what he was saying there, and Alex, please correct me if I'm wrong, was that the staff just like collecting and bringing to us. But I think it's a valid concern of like we still have. I mean, we could get 50 applicants, right? And then we still need to determine who is in because the interview is supposed to be at our board meeting, right? So we do have to like vet it before then at some point to determine who we are interviewing, right? Or Member Woodley, did I misunderstand?
No, you're correct. But I didn't even think of the possibility of 50 applicants. Possibility.
I'm being optimistic, Alex. Optimistic. So,
I'm
and
open
with
to
that being
any.
said, oh, I'm sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Colin. Go ahead.
I would be open to a committee. I would be happy to be part of that conversation just to at least vet it. I don't think this is necessarily a process we should put on the staff. I agree with Member Woodley though that Mr. Jackson can like collect all of it and just give us, here's the information, so it's going to one place. Unless we think President Sloan it should actually just go to you, and then you could send it to all of us, and we lift this entire burden off the staff, which I am open to as well.
No, I believe that I would like for this to go through the NIAA because like I said at the opening, that Mr. Jackson is a part of this process. This is not entirely our decision.
Right.
It's a collective effort, and I would like for this to initiate and go through the NIAA. Ms. Cavazos.
What you just said, President Sloan, basically, this is kind of like a joint effort here, but I think that this needs to go through the NIAA, as you said, and not necessarily a committee, but when we do decide how we're going to do this, that we do have to be careful how we state this so that later on, there's not a conflict as far as what the process actually was and what it says we're going to do. But I do agree with what you just said, and I concur with Member Woodley and Member McNaught.
President Sloan, for the record, Lauren Ford.
Yes.
I agree as well. And I think that our what we just approved, page 11 and 12, gives Tim enough information to vet candidates to bring to us. If a candidate does not have any of these experiences or relevance in their application process, those will be vetted out. All the ones that meet this, he could bring to us. If, as Colin stated, we have 50 at that point, then I do think that as a board, we need to set criteria to vet those 50 down so that we're getting the best candidates that are brought forward to us. I think another piece that would be vetted out also would be if somebody applies and has, $500,000 to $1 million as being like their retainer fee, we would vet that out because it would be unreasonable compensation request. But I do think that what we just approved is a good basis for him to vet candidates, or the staff, I should say, of the NIAA to vet candidates.
Thank you. Mr. McNaught?
Yeah, and I hear that. I think that the staff could be on the committee, like Tim could serve on the committee. I don't really want to put all of the vetting on Mr. Jackson. So I think the way it's written here, I would be in support of. I'm confident we could get some of us who would be willing to spend some time on the committee to like vet it. With staff, I think staff should be on this committee as well. So that would be That would be my opinion of the search committee process here. So President Sloan, I'd be ready to make a motion when you're ready.
Can I
Madam
ask for
President, if I may, this
Yes,
is Alex.
go ahead,
If,
Alex.
if we do go the committee route, and I do know Member McNaught, he stated that he'd be willing to get on there, so I appreciate that. So, Colin, I'm just going to ask for you that you help with this subcommittee and make it go through quickly. My biggest fear about subcommittees, man, is that things go sideways and they don't get accomplished, they don't get finished. So, Colin, I'm gonna need you to help us with that and keep it streamlining along.
I can't imagine why you'd be worried about that, Member Whitley. But frankly, I agree with you. I actually think sometimes we make it go longer than the committees do. So I don't think the committee part will be the issue for sure.
All right, I'm gonna go to Sean and then to Linda. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, just I haven't asked Mr. Anderson yet, but when the subcommittee is created, I would hope that this is, the NIA Board of Control. You all know that you are a representatives in helping the NIA, that we would seek out some of his experience, if he's able. Maybe he's riding off to the sunset, retiring, but it's a special position that someone has to realize. Legal counsel for the NIAA has to know about school law and all these other important aspects. And so I would hope that Mr. Anderson again would at least give some advice to the search committee, or even beyond the search committee. But again, I don't want to volunteer. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Cavazos.
Thank you, President Sloan. I have to say that I think that Alex Woodley is reading my mind today about subcommittees and any kind of committees. They can sometimes be a detriment if we kind of get into the weeds, but they can also help if we are streamlining the process. So I would be willing to serve on this committee, having been through several of these searches, but with the goal of having this move forward as quickly as possible. Because as Mr. Jackson said, this is a very time-sensitive matter, and we want to get this in place as soon as possible. I put that in the chat, I put one sentence in the chat. I wasn't sure if I missed at the beginning, if we were supposed to be raising our hands or putting it in the chat, so I did both.
Thank you. Ms. Ford.
Thank you, President Sloan. How do we define who is on this selection committee? Is it just whoever volunteers today from us? Because I'd be happy to volunteer as well to be a part of that and help out with the selection committee. Or how does that work? Do we have a defined way of selecting who would sit on this subcommittee?
I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Jackson.
I think I need to stress very importantly, this is not Tim Jackson leading this. This is the board's committee. If the board wants to have a committee, the board needs to decide the makeup of that committee. I think that seems to be, I don't mean to sound that I don't want to make this committee or these decisions. I don't think it is my place to make these decisions. I think this is the board's attorney. This is the board's decision to make that. I think that needs to be done. If they want one member of staff on that committee, so be it. I would not recommend me. I would recommend Kate. She works more closely with our legal counsel than any other member of our staff. But I am not in the position to determine what the committee should be, nor do I think I should, whether it needs to be had or not. So I don't, Ms. Ford, I don't know what the board's flavor is for this. I don't know how the board wants to proceed, but that's why we're having the meeting. So we can the board can make that determination and staff knows what its marching orders are at the end of this meeting.
I agree, Madam.
Let me go to Alex. Hang on. Let me go to Mr. McNaught and then I'll come back to you.
And I'm going to speak for about 15 minutes, Ms. Member Woodley. So I hope you
I'm going to cut you
have
off.
some patience there. No, with that being said, though, Mr. Jackson, I do think that they do work directly with you, right? So your opinion is important here. And I think what I was gathering from President Sloan was just like, what's the staff's recommendation for that, right? It doesn't mean we have to follow it, of course, right? But the question to you, I think, was just like, how would you think we would go about selecting this committee?
I think the selection of the committee is I have a tendency when I speak to sound more directive than I want to, and I'm not trying to sound directive. Because I don't think that this is one where the staff should be directive or me as the executive director should be directive. I think in this situation, I think the board needs to determine if they want to have a committee, what the committee makeup should be. My recommendation then would be if you have a committee with makeup, I think one position should be a member of our staff because our staff does have a lot of, as Mr. McNaught mentioned, a lot of the legal aspects is facing us. It's
Yeah.
staff facing. And I think
And I
that
appreciate that. That's I think what the question was, and I agree with that statement there. And so I think the only question that I would have, Mr. Anderson, I suppose like this committee would have to be what, 5 or 6 or less, or 5 or less, right? Because it can't be a quorum of this
Yeah.
group. 5, right?
5, yep.
5. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, my initial thought is like we would approve what we have here and then say that we're going to have the search committee is going to contain 4 board members that we will decide and vote on here as a group and 1 staff member to be selected by the executive director. Right. So I know, Mr. Jackson, you said you don't want it to be me. That's fine. I think it should be your decision, though, who you want to put forward onto this committee. So
appreciate that.
Okay, and I already know before I go back to Ms. Cavazos and then Mr. Whipperman that we have Kate per the request of Mr. Jackson. I'm sorry, Alex, I skipped you. Go right ahead.
No worries. That's exactly what I wanted to ask for. Subcommittee of 5, 1 staff person, 4 board members, 2 north and 2 south. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Cavazos.
Again, I think Member Woodley has somehow gotten into my head this morning or whatever, but I was going to suggest the same thing. And also, do we have, in reference to what Member Ford had said, do we have a reference to how previous committees, how our other committees are selected? Do we have any kind of protocol that we need to follow regarding how our other committees were comprised?
I can tell you that I can't find anything from the other committees other than the fact that they existed. I could probably dig into the minutes for the executive director search, but there are members here that I think would have a better grasp of what that looked like prior.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Jackson, this is Paul Anderson. Since I was asked to head those search committees or to be involved, and everything came through me. But the members of the search committees for the executive director positions have always been just appointed by the board or agreed to by the board. So there's no specific protocol. Just those willing to serve and with a set number.
All right, Mr. Whipperman.
I have a suggestion for the board. We already have a member from the south with Mr. McNaught, a member from the north, Ms. Ford, the NIAA, Kate, and Ms. Cavazos. Dennis, don't punch me in the face, but I thought a superintendent would be a fantastic member of the board as well. Could be potentially our 5th member. I hate to, put someone else out there for this, but I think that that's a great makeup, and I think it encompasses many of the opinions on the board. To Mr. Woodley's point, we have North, we have South, Superintendent, School Board. I think that's a good mix of people, if I can make that suggestion. Sorry, Dennis, for putting you out there.
Thank you. Mr. McNaught.
I'm just in a queue for a motion, and it will include Dennis in the motion, just so we're clear.
Dennis, do you
that's a
have
great
anything to
idea.
add?
It's a great idea, Mr. Whipperman.
Right.
Madam Chair, I am 100% on board. I just want to recognize that I am a non-voting member, but would be more than happy to serve.
Appreciate that. All right, I'm going to take it back to Mr. McNaught.
And then just one other question, President Sloan, before I make a motion. Do you think it would be more appropriate, as we have 4 regions, right? So should we have 1 per region? Would that be the fairest way to do it, or are we okay? Is anyone opposed to what Mr. Whipperman just said?
I wonder if it would behoove us to have a discussion, seeing that there are 2 CCSD folks on here, just that appearance, maybe that conversation needs to happen. Mr. Holmes represents the superintendents. Perhaps we look at someone like a Wade Polson or a someone from maybe another rural county that sits on our board.
Yeah, that's why I was saying I think like if we just go region, right? We make sure we have somebody from 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I think we would cover that plus the superintendent plus the staff. That would be my opinion. And then
That gets you to 6, though. That's an even number.
But if
not
Mr.
6 voting members though.
Okay.
Right. We only have 4 voting members that would be part of that conversation, correct?
I'm not talking about quorum. I apologize. I'm saying that within the committee, you would have an even number.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That would be an issue or not. Okay, so what do we think, team?
Oh,
Is that
I have, Madam Chair, Alex Woodley.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure that when we identify all these members, I want to make sure we have no conflict of interest. So if any board member has any relationship with any firm or any applicant, I want to make sure, I don't want to hear later on we go through all this and then like, oh, it turns out this is the spouse of one of our board members, or this is the spouse of one of our committee members, or they work with this firm, and I don't want to have to start this all over again. So I just want to make sure we clear out any conflicts of interest.
Yeah, I agree, Alex. Can you define that just so we're clear? Because I mean, in Clark County, when we do interviews, we define it as like hanging out with somebody twice a month, like so we get like kind of specific like that. So like,
Yeah.
what are you thinking?
I'm thinking any personal relationships, family, or partnerships, not friends, because we all are in the same circle and we know people. So that's not, but family members or having business with. So if you're a board member or on the committee and you have business with a firm that's applying, then you shouldn't be able to vote on that. Or if you have a familial relationship, your cousin, your brother, your sister, whatever it is, that's a conflict of interest. Is that clear? Not friendship, doing business with, or having some type of familial relationship. I've had too many rodeos.
All right, are we still looking to add another individual to this list? Are we good? If we're good, I guess we're looking for a motion.
So we're good with not having do we have all the regions covered per Mr. McNaught's request?
Not 2.
Yeah,
Laura?
2 is either Greg or Rianne,
It's
right?
Greg Malkovich. I do want to serve.
There he is. Perfect. Cool. All right, President Sloan. So if I could, I would like to make a motion.
Go right ahead.
I will make a motion to approve the timeline in front of us with a search committee that consists of 1 voting member from each region, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The superintendent's representative, Dennis Holmes. I want to make sure that's in the motion, comma, a representative from the staff to be determined by the executive director.
We have a first. Do we need to list the members of the committee in the motion?
Sorry, I was assuming we would just do that right after we approve the process. Then we would do like, here's the committee, and then we motion to approve that, so we don't complicate it.
Sounds good. Okay, we have a first. Need a
Second. Keith,
Thank you.
Keith Whipperman, second.
We have a first, we have a second. Any additional questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any disapprove? Say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Motion approved. All right. So do we need to list the members?
Sure. Pam, this is Keith. If I heard correctly, here's who I heard was on that, and we'll see if everyone agrees. Mr. Malkovich, Mr. McNaught, Ms. Ford, an NIAA member, which I think Tim has very clearly said he wants Ms. Segroy, Ms. Cavazos, and Mr. Holmes to represent the superintendents. Have I heard that correctly? If I've not, please someone correct me.
That is correct. That's 6 individuals.
Except this, Cavazos and I represent Region 4 together, so that we just can't both do it, which is fine. So the question I have logistically, because I am happy to turn over the responsibility to my esteemed colleague, Trustee Cavazos. But what is the logistics here? Because if it's an in-person meeting, then truthfully, I'm going to be out. If it's a virtual meeting, then I would still be interested. So I think that's just a factor here. But again, if Trustee Cavazos still wants to do it, then I'm happy to step aside and allow her to do it. And then Member Woodley, your meeting will be probably a little quicker. So I guess the question is logistically, President Sloan or team, do we need this to be in person or is it virtual?
I think virtual. I mean, we got a tight timeline.
I agree. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And then so Trustee Cavazos, it's all yours if you want it.
I am willing to serve. I am quite willing to do this virtually, but also too, I don't want to deprive Colin
You
of being
won't,
on this
Trustee. It's all good.
committee. And also too, I'm looking at the timeline here. So I think that anybody that has already said that they are willing to serve is really carefully considering. I know that I've been looking at my both of my Google calendars right now and looking at that to make sure that I am available for that. So I don't know, I'm going to make this more difficult by saying that I'm good either way. With the added statement that, Colin is stating that the meeting would go a lot faster or the process would go a lot faster if I
Yeah,
was
Trustee
on the.
Cavazos, Alex Woodley, Madam Chair, if I may. There's an option there. I'll choose fellow trustee, Mr. McNaught. Thank you for volunteering. And yeah, I like the idea of a fellow trustee because of the fact that you have a perspective from the entire Clark district. I think there's some value there.
I appreciate that. I'm trying to think of how many times I've gone through this process on the selection process for an attorney, and I would say it was at least three and a half, because one of them did not go all the way through. But no, I would be happy to serve.
The only thing we're missing, President Sloan's Region 3, I think. Did we have somebody from 3?
We have Wade and Rayanne.
Right, and neither are here, right? Are they here?
Rayanne, I believe it's here.
Rayanne is here. I mean, I do not have any experience, but I am happy to serve if needed.
I think Wade Wade Polson has several experiences with his water district job and school board as hiring legal, but I know he's not here.
Rayanne Sorensen. I agree with Sean. I would say if we can have a way to be part of it, and if he is not able to, then I would be the substitute for that region.
President Sloan, I'm happy to make a motion.
Go right ahead. Please do so.
I'm just gonna make this for as far as for Region 3. I'm gonna say that it will be determined by Region 3 after we speak to Wade. I'm not gonna put Wade necessarily in it. So I'll make a motion to approve the search committee to include Representative Ford for Region 1, Representative Malkovich for Region 2, the representative for Region 3 to be determined by Region 3, between Wade or between Member Polson or Member Sorensen. Region 4 will be Member Cavazos. The superintendent representative will be Superintendent Holmes, and then the staff representative will be Ms. Segroy.
Just before
Madam
you
Chair.
did contact Mr. Polson, he is willing to serve.
Okay, you just talked to him? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I will just modify
Thank you, Mr.
that
Jackson.
to say Region 3 will be Member Polson.
Madam
Keep
Chair,
one.
Alex Woodley, second.
Yep, second. Sorry, Alex, good job.
Okay, we have a first, we have a second.
Can I get clarity on who made the second? I'm sorry.
It was Alex Woodley. I think he beat me in.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a first, we have a second. Any additional questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Once again, I would like to thank staff for the work in which they put into this. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, let me just write something here. All right. All right, now thank you once again. Let's go to item number 8. Give my notes. Closed session. I will need a motion to go into closed session.
Keith Whipperman, I make a motion to go into closed session.
I have a first. We have.
I'll
I-
Madam
second
Chair?
that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, please, Ms. Cavazos.
I will second that motion.
Ms. Sloan, could you also please have them state in their motion that we will, the purpose of it, and that we will be taking no action following it so that we can stop the YouTube feed so that we are just recording what we need
You
to
know
do.
what I'll do? I'll read this statement. That will be going to closed session pursuant to NRS 241.0154C to receive information from legal counsel regarding potential and or existing litigation involving matters over which the NIAA has supervision, control, jurisdiction, or advisory power, and to possibly deliberate towards a decision on this matter. We have a first, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. The ayes have it. Thank you.
At the request of council, staff